Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here at the Ministry of Information for the Minister's Press Briefing. This afternoon, we are here to talk about the major progress that has been made in the education sector. A lot of investment, a lot of social intervention, so many infrastructure, and as we start the year, it is important that the Honorable Minister himself gives us an update on what has been happening within the education sector so that the journalists present can also ask their questions and we'll go for responses from the Minister. This afternoon, we are privileged to receive a very powerful delegation from the Ministry of Education led by the Honorable Minister himself, Dr. Osei Adutwum, who is also the Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe constituency in the Ashanti region. With him, we have some dignitaries. With your kind permission, I would like to go through the list and acknowledge all these distinguished individuals who have joined us this afternoon. We have the Chief Director of the Ministry, Mr. Divine Ayije. I hope I got the name right and I didn't butcher it. Acting Chief Director, if you are here, let's... Okay. And we have the Deputy Minister and my own big brother, Honorable Reverend John Ntimfojio with us. We also have the Executive Director for St. Louis, Nana Jemfi Ejabo. And we have the CEO of Ghana Library Authority, Mr. Hayford Siao, if you are here. We have the Director, TVET Service, Rejoice Dankwa. Okay. We have Director, Human Resource Management at the Ministry of Education, Mr. Abdul Razak Umar. We have the Deputy Get Fund Administrator, Mr. Joseph Dente, and the Deputy Director General for GTEC, Dr. Ahmed Jinapo. We also have the Deputy Director General, Management Services at GES, Mr. Anthony Boateng, and the Deputy Director General of NACA, Mr. Kweku Ofuri. We also have the Deputy Registrar General Services, NTC, Mr. Rexford Opoku. And we have the Deputy Registrar NTC, Mr. Lawrence Sapon, with us this afternoon. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Without wasting my time, I would like to invite the Honorable Minister to make the substantive presentation, and in due course, we will acknowledge some other dignitaries who have joined us this afternoon. Thank you.
Good morning to every one of you. I was asking the Deputy Minister for Information how many minutes I have, and he said, as long as I want. And I said, who? That's a mistake. So I'll be mindful of my time. Distinguished media personalities, Director General of various agencies. Now we have so many Director Generals, so all of you. My hardworking Deputy Minister for Education, Honorable Ntimfojio, heads of agencies, my Honorable Deputy Information Minister. We also have UNESCO Director General here joining us. I was not expecting him, but he's made it. Our guests who are here with us, and all our great men and women watching us from far and near. It's a great opportunity for me to give you an update on what the President has directed that we do at the Ministry of Education. In this fourth industrial revolution, we are all aware that if there's anything that can transform our fortunes, it is education. But it's not going to be just any education. It has to be purposeful. An education that produces young men and women who are assertive, disciplined, focused, have the requisite skills for the socio-economic transformation of this nation. And that is what we are doing at the Ministry of Education. My staff yesterday, spending so many hours preparing the presentation, was dreading that I may not read from it. So in order to make them a little bit happy, I'll start from there. But I can't tell you where I'm going to end up. But definitely I'll have to use some slides so that they will know that their work was not in vain. Certain priorities have been set for us as a ministry. We look at the SDG goals, we look at the education's strategic plan, which is like the Bible that guides everything that we do. Then, of course, we have our party manifesto that drew from various sources and created for us a pathway or blueprint for education transformation. We also look at the National Medium-Term Development Plan and policy initiatives. And then we begin to take it from there, looking at how best we can create an education system that will respond to the 21st century needs of our dear nation. A number of times I get people who say, are we not doing too many things? And I say to them, the world is not waiting for us. In education, sometimes you have to do about 12 things at the same time in order for you to see results. It's not good enough for you to build classroom blocks and lecture halls. You also have to look at professional development, how you train the very people who are going to be in that facility, how you rearrange teaching and learning even within the facility, what kind of tools you give to the teachers and give to the students. All this may become policy initiatives that you embark upon. Intervention programs that you design so that when the students are not doing well, you know, and you support them. When a student walks into a junior high school and cannot read, do we just lament, or do we say to ourselves, because we know Akosua cannot read, Akosua is not going to take 9 courses at the junior high school, but rather we're going to give Akosua 1 reading and writing course in lieu of an elective course, so that Akosua can pick up and do well. If Akosua still cannot read and write, he hits the high school, do we just leave her hanging and make it sink or swim? Or do we say to ourselves, why do 10 courses in high school when this student cannot read and cannot write? Why do we leave this student to only gravitate towards memorization because he cannot read and write? He doesn't have his own grammar. But the grammar of the teacher who did knows for him. These are common sense approach to reform that you hear us talk about. They are nothing new, but other than the fact that we need to really, in our education system, bridge the gap and remove the bottlenecks and allow our nation to compete with the rest of the world. Ghana is blessed with great talent of young men and women, which, if we could work with them, can compete with anyone, anywhere in the world and excel. But we have work to do. Giant strides have been made, but it's not good enough. We can't compete with the rest of the world when the first time we get to know of student achievement or outcomes is 11 years after they enroll with us, and that has been the norm in this country for a long time. We have 2 years of KG, 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior high. You add it up, that's 11 years, and it's at the end of the 11 years that we do first national exam. And whether they do well or not is too late for that particular student. In other nations around the world, they're able to assess their students along the line before they hit the 11 years or 14 years. So when we hear us talking about the national standardized test, it's to enable the country to know how well our students are doing and not wait till 11 years. So this year we did the first national standardized test. Close to 500,000 students participated in the exams. The results will be coming out soon to tell us how well our primary 4 students are doing. This academic year, we are going to assess primary 2 students, we'll assess primary 4 students, and we'll assess primary 6 students. The goal is for us to know how well the students are doing, then prescribe intervention the year after the exams is administered. The students who took the 4th grade exams this year, when the results come out, their parents are going to get copies of the results. It will break it down for the parent to know whether my child is doing well in fractions, algebra, decimals, and then that parent has something in his hand or her hand to be able to engage with the teacher and say, how can my son do well? How can my daughter do well? So the 5th year or 5th grade or 5th, the primary 5 become an intervention year. Then we test them again in primary 6 and say, did the intervention work or did not work? For the first time, we're going to have a set of data that will enable us to really prescribe intervention for our schools and begin to look at how we turn around our schools. It's not good enough for us to have a school system, an education system. It's not good enough for us to know that students are going to school. We have to ensure that they are producing outcomes. So when we see that 48 of our senior high schools, for many, many years, 48, many years, not just the last few years, they have a pass rate of less than 1%. For those 48 schools, if you happen to go there, you have a 1% chance, if you are lucky, of going to the university. That is unacceptable. And you're going to see me as the Minister for Education holding myself to account on those issues, and our charge GS also turn the corner on those issues. All those places that have been dark to you, and we were the ones who know, will be open up for everybody to see. If our ministry is not doing well, you will know. Because I believe the president wants to ensure that we have an education system that will meet the test of time. And it's not good when the students enrolled in a high school and have a 0% chance of moving on to the university. The good news is that we've embarked on an agenda that will transform these schools. Thanks to TTEL and MasterCard Foundation, a project has begun total reform of the schools to make sure that nobody walks into a school where they have a 0 chance or 1% chance of moving forward. So when we do this, it's not because we want to do more, but just the country cannot wait for transformation of our schools. Sticking to the script so that my people will be happy. Improving learning outcomes and human capital. I think I've alluded to some of them, and you're going to see them listed here. We are going to do analysis of the NST. Results will be used for targeted instruction. And you see, as part of the Gallup, Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes project, we are disbursing learning grants to schools, over 10,000 schools involved in it. All this is geared towards making sure we have schools that give us the requisite manpower and quality manpower so that we can transform our fortunes as a nation. I just want you to know that the President has directed that we bring about quality learning outcomes. And also full implementation of a curriculum, our primary school curriculum. Thank God this past week, negotiations were done, committee chaired by my hardworking Deputy Minister. And now we are going to move on very fast to make sure our core textbooks hit the classrooms for primary school. At the same time, junior high schools have begun the implementation of the common core curriculum. Learner materials for teachers are being distributed to all schools to ensure that they have 1 year content with them before we're able to get their textbooks together. I think you can see the information there. Now, let me move on to some of my favorite topics: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In the 21st century, we say that we are in the fourth industrial revolution. We've went from the steam era, where we have various machines that was basically powered by water and the steam that came out of it. Then electricity came and we became very excited. Then from electricity we went to electronics. And now we're going to something which is a fusion between the physical and biological. And that is what is driving the fourth industrial revolution. When you talk about using the iris of your eyes as identification and can open your door and you walk in the Internet of Things, things are changing rapidly. In fact, it's documented that 40% of all jobs that we do today around the world will be lost in 10 years' time. The world is changing. So if you begin to have a high school system that focuses on home economics, nothing wrong with it, visual arts, nothing wrong with it, general arts, nothing wrong with it, business, good. But you don't look at computer science and programming. You don't look at biomedical sciences. And you don't even begin to think about engineering in high school. Something is wrong with the disconnect between what you are teaching and what they need to do in industry. So when you hear us talking about STEM, we're talking about STEM in all its forms, whether it's biomedical, engineering, whether it's general engineering. We need to move and move fast to ensure that our students are offered similar pathways. And I know we all hear about the fact that we want our universities to have 60% STEM. You hear it in the speeches of President. It has been read many, many times to us that all our universities will enroll 60%. Good. If only 12 to 15% of your high school students are doing science, how does 15% become 60%? When you have also said to yourself that if you did not do science in high school, you will never be an engineer. I always talk about the story of Kojo Mensah, who had a dream and God was speaking to him and said, Kojo, you're going to be the best engineer in the world. And he said, God, it cannot happen. And God said, I created you and I know you. And said, no, God, you don't know me. And God said, why are you challenging me? I'm your creator. And Kojo said, God, I'm growing up in Ghana. And in high school, I'm doing visual arts. There's no way I'll become an engineer. But what Kojo didn't know was that God knew Kojo was going to travel to America. And there, they wouldn't mind. They would give him an opportunity to become an engineer. So if the visual art is the most creative of our people, 2 years ago, 83,000 of our students did visual arts. If they cannot be among the pool of talented individuals who are going to imagine and innovate, who then are engineers? And how do we move 15% to 60% if we begin to tell these young men and women who are determined to change their minds from their high school adventure to the university and say, you know what? I'm determined that even though I did generals, I can be an engineer. And we say to him or her, you will never be and will never even give you the chance to do it. The good news is that things are changing. UMAT, together at Pentecost University, have offered to create an opportunity for pre-engineering for students who didn't do science to use 1 year intensive prep to get them ready for engineering. And I'm excited about it. Because it can be said that young men who are so gifted, my favorite people are visual students. When I go to any school, I want to see them. And sometimes I see through their faces frustration because they are being told that they are not smart. In the new Bloom's taxonomy, which is like the blueprint for teaching and learning, the highest level of learning is creation. Those who can use their minds and their hands to create, that is the highest level of learning. The lowest level of learning is comprehension and memorization. But in Ghana, we say they are the smarter because they could memorize the notes of the teacher. So this is the kind of education system we are talking about, that there is a need for transformation. There is a need for us to change some things so that we can get better outcomes. So when you look at the new career pathways, at the tertiary level, this opportunity is going to be offered. We're also looking at how do we ensure that we don't wait till they get to the university to talk about, can you change your minds, but how do we ensure that TVET offers an opportunity of a lifetime to the young ones when they hit high school. And by the time they get to high school, it might be too late. Because we as a nation have created a system that we call junior high. 1987 education reform dismantled what used to be a pathway, a bifurcated pathway, a dual pathway, where you could go through the middle school system and skip to secondary, or you can go from primary 6 and go to secondary. We created a monster. We removed what used to be middle schools, which gave opportunity to people from disadvantaged backgrounds to catch up with the rest. So if you happen to be a well-to-do person, you go to primary 6, from there you go straight to secondary. And then if things are difficult for you and you don't come from that background, you have more time to catch up. And you go to middle school. You can skip middle school from 2, from 3, from 4. It ends, and then you can move on. In 1987, we said to ourselves, we no longer need 7 years of upper secondary. To hell with middle school. Gone. And then we borrowed a concept from the United States of America, 3+3. But we decided that 3+3, but the lower 3, the first 3, is not something that we're going to be very concerned about. And that students will move from primary 6 to junior high school to high school. But the junior high school is going to be part of basic. So even though it's high school, we never operationalize it at high school. It's part of basic. And we also moved them into the old middle school buildings. We never looked back, but we told them that you are a junior high school student, but you're going to wear the same uniform as the primary 1 student. But you are a junior high school. You don't have science labs. You don't have computer labs, but you are a junior high school. So by the time you move on from there to the through high school, you don't have the requisite skills to compete with the rest of the world. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo believes that something needs to be done about the weak middle. The weak middle, which happens to be the junior high school. I think the weakest link in our education system is the junior high school. Because others will go to the junior high school and do quality secondary work. They do biology, they do chemistry, they do physics, they have computer labs. So if you meet those students at Wesley Girls, they are ahead of the curve. And they are going to do much better than you. So the disadvantaged kid who used to have the middle school as a buffer to catch up with the rest, when the middle school was taken away, we did not also replace that with quality junior high school. And the president believes strongly that in order to reduce inequities in society, we have to provide similar opportunities for all. Therefore, we have junior high schools that are under construction now, and the facilities in there will be just like high schools. Everything that is in a high school will be there. It's a pilot program. And students who go through it will have had 3 quality years of junior high, move on to high school to do another 3 years, giving them 6 years, making them competitive, and making us compete with the rest of the world. We can't talk about robotics and all those big things when the facilities doesn't support that. I don't have a magic wand to just change everything. We don't as a nation, but we're going to start. So you hear of Accra STEM Academy, one of the finest schools that are going to be built in this country. If you can show the picture of it, I will appreciate it. Are you there? No? Okay. Yes. The one at the corner, the Accra STEM Academy. Going to be one of the finest schools in the world. From KG to senior high school. Everything that needs to be there will be there. And it's going to be a model, and we'll move on to other places around the country. Because I believe that if we want to be like Singapore, we need to do what Singaporeans are doing. It cannot be that we'll say that we want to be like the rest of the world, but we're not going to do what the rest of the world will do, but somehow we'll become like them. Strides are being made here. So beyond free senior high school, the president is focused and targeted on how do I create a robust education system that will stand the test of time. So whether it's about NTC, National Teaching Council, about NASIA, National School Inspectorate Authority, about Library Authority, every one of these agencies are looking at how can we come together and create a more robust education system for this country. Africa can compete. Africa will never be found in the space that we find ourselves in, and Ghana will take the lead. Research has been done by the Brookings Institution, and they tell us that it's going to take 120 years for our education system to catch up with that of the Western world. 120 years. But they said something profound, that if you really don't want to use 120 years, then you better develop leapfrogging strategies that will catapult you into prominence and lead you on to catch up with the rest of the world. I've taught in education system in developed nations, and their children are not better than us. Our children can do way better. But it calls for a new way of teaching and learning. So when you hear of the curriculum change and things that are changing, it's for us to create that human capital that we need. It's not good enough for us to have a human capital index of 0.44, which says that we are wasting 56% of our human capacity. So the sense of urgency we have in government is very different. We believe that education has to be transformed. We don't have 120 years. So when you look at double track, yes, in any reform that you do, there will be challenges. But the core of it is that, do you wait till you build all the schools before you enroll more students? Or do you have a new way that you can employ to enroll more students while at the same time you revamp your infrastructure, you ramp up your infrastructure? That's a leapfrogging strategy. So you look at it this way. In 2016, about 800,000 plus students were in high school. By April this year, it will be 1.39. Look at the difference. So should we have waited, or we should have moved on, as the president directed that we do, as we fix the challenges as we move along? That is what Brookings Institution is talking about. That is called leapfrogging inequality. And that if we don't take the leapfrogging strategy, we'll never catch up. So you will say that, what about science lab? Yes, we are building science lab, but we're also using virtual labs. As I speak with you, one of the most progressive agencies at the Ministry of Education, SENDLOS, headed by Mr. Jemfi Jabo, is doing something very innovative. Together with Open University UK, they are developing lab activities, simulated lab activities. All you need is your laptop and a projector, and you do every experiment that you will be able to do in a wet lab. It's not like this way drink. All you need is what? Yeah. I'm not doing promo for them. So we are saying that a new school that has started out is not going to say that we cannot do science because we don't have a science lab. All you need is a projector and a laptop and all the lab activities that have been produced by SENDLOS, and you can do science just like anybody. You can dissect the floor virtually. You can do chemistry virtually. And the good news about doing chemistry that way is that if you make a mistake, the chemical doesn't blow up in your face. It will blow up on the computer will not even blow up. That is called leapfrogging inequality. We have to leapfrog. So there are certain things that underpin what you see at the Ministry of Education, the sense of urgency is about how do we catch up with the rest of the world? How do we create a more robust education system that will stand the test of time? How do we bridge performance gaps between the north and south of the country? If you're a minister for education and look at the achievement data of the northern regions plus OT and voter region and compare it to the south, you go to bed and you want to wake up early to look at what you can do about it. It's not good. That in some regions, only 3% of the students are pursuing science. In others, it's about 12 to 15%. Things have to change. So this is the sense of urgency that we come with. When we talk about junior high school transformation, when we talk about engaging our stakeholders in order to ensure that we can improve learning outcomes, it's all about making sure that we have an education system that stands the test of time. When we talk about introducing STEM education and constructing high schools focusing on STEM, it's about how do we make sure that our children have the skill set to operate in the 21st century as we talk about the fourth industrial revolution and what they need to do and need to know. So this year I'm excited that we're going to open 6 new schools focusing on STEM. The rest of the STEM schools will be will be opened in 2023. In the midst of all this, we're also going to open operationalize 4 e-blocks. So for all those who say we've abandoned them, no, we've been opening it every year. But today I'm announcing it to the good people of Ghana, that if one government invests, another government will come and continue, because after all, it's the money of the people of Ghana. I've always been on record as saying that the e-blocks, where they were located in urban areas, was the best investment any government could make. You go to Dome Kwabinya, the e-block that was placed there is packed with students. We've added a 2-story block and it's full. GMPC has built a 6-classroom block, it's also full. Excellent location. But when I go to the e-block, located at Drobonso, 2 miles away from Drobonso town, no electricity, in the middle of the forest. And I say that this is Drobonso Community Senior High School. Something is wrong. So the president directed that we needed to add dormitory blocks. As I speak with you, I've been told that we are at about 95% completion, and we are pushing to get the girls' dormitory and boys' dormitory all completed so that we can open the school. So when you hear about people saying you've abandoned them, we attempted to open Drobonso. The 3 students that went there cried their hearts out. We had to go and evacuate them and take them to Chirumbu Akudia. Saura Community Senior High School, beautiful school. But children are coming from villages walking, and those who can't walk back to their villages have to find a family member to stay with, all the challenges, especially for the girls. So the government once again said, why don't we put dormitory blocks? I'm happy to inform you that now we have a girls' dorm completed. The students will be in April 4th. And that will be a watershed moment for that school, because now it's a boarding school. So it's no longer going to be called community day school. Same is being done. We are doing same at a number of community senior high schools so that it could be operationalized well, so that the students will not have to go through the aggravation of having to find family members to stay with. So I want you to know that e-blocks have not been abandoned. And the interesting thing is when you have something, water for me? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. When you have a situation where you want to build, but you don't budget for it, and then you say, when you are no longer there, then you say that, why have you not completed the buildings? And I'm asking, where is the money? There were 200 e-blocks that were going to be built. 124 was started, very good. Out of the 124, 23 had dedicated source of funds from the World Bank through the Secondary Education Improvement Project, all of them have been completed. The rest of them, budgetary allocations, was supposed to be year by year, so that when there's some money, you can do something. Consequently, some of them have not been done. And I know that so far the President is concerned, has directed us that within our budgetary constraint, we should complete as many as possible. And you have heard that we're going to operationalize some of them. There's stakeholder consultation going on now for the introduction of gifted and talented education in Ghana. Gifted individuals are the ones with those high IQs, high achieving. Talented are the ones who have certain skill, natural born traits. They can sing, they can dance, they can draw, do so many things. In other countries, they focus on them and make sure they have their special classrooms or special schools. So as you take care of children with learning challenges, you also have to take care of children who are high achieving. And in most places, they put them together with children who have learning challenges because they think that if you do not take a good care of a student who is gifted, they may go wayward. Because they sit in the classroom, and to them, the Ghanaian classroom is the most boring place. That child is sitting there, he has different ways of solving the problem. And he can't sit still because he can't wait. His hand is up, and her hand is up. And the teacher is saying, Sir, can we do it differently? I said, no, this is what I'm teaching you. Those children are miserable. They have a new way, but our system does not support the new way. In research, it is identified that 10% of every population is gifted or talented. 10%. So some countries have capitalized on that, Hong Kong, United States, South Korea, and say, hey, if this 10% have natural born traits and research is showing that they are talented or gifted, why don't we give them special attention so that they will be the ones that will innovate and develop our nation? And those countries that have done that have seen innovation going through the roof. These are talented, gifted individuals just sitting there and saying, can you help me? Can you allow my talent to come out so that I can help this nation? And because you are not doing this in the classroom, I'm stepping out, I'm going to do my solar-powered bike just from my head. So imagine if somebody was guiding him. That student would have developed something even more advanced than the solar-powered bike. That is where education should be, and stakeholder consultations are ongoing, consulting many people with great ideas in that space to ensure that we can come to a point that we have gate schools and we have gate programs in our schools. And children are being supported to bring about innovation, and that innovation will not be bottled up in them by sheer virtue of the fact that we don't know who they are and how they learn. So I'm super excited about that. And I can't wait to see Ghanaian students getting the opportunity at junior high school level engineering. Our way, helping us engineer our way out of challenges, because the environment that we create for them will lend itself to that. So it brings great excitement to me that within existing resources, we can truly do more, as they say, with less. So some of the career pathways that these gifted and talented students will be given the opportunity to pursue together, and the ones that will be done in our STEM schools include environmental science, aeronautics and aerospace engineering, computer science, manufacturing, agric science, global studies, and creative arts. Creative arts is where a site in a school is currently under construction in Kumasi at Kwadaso, going to bring children with creative talents from across the country. You have to audition to get into the school. That school will be open in 2023. And when it happens, you're going to see Ghana's creative arts industry being given a boost, a great boost, because the young ones that are talented will find their space there, and industry individuals will get the opportunity to motivate them there and to guide them. We are creating our own Hollywood. And we believe that just as it is done around the world where talented individuals are nurtured to really bring out their talent, gifted and talented education, whether it's through the global creative arts engineering, agric science, or environmental science will give us an opportunity to nurture the great minds of our future. The Einsteins of Africa will be nurtured through these institutions. And in order for this to happen, we have to be meticulous in our approach. We need to make sure that we are creating an affiliation program for new schools. We need to affiliate high schools for the creative arts, for example, with other creative arts high schools around the world, so that they can exchange the ideas through the power of the internet, video conferencing, getting them to be able to interact with certain top actors across the world. But also have to begin to look at, in terms of science, for example, how we affiliate new schools with existing high-performing schools. I don't understand why Presec does so well, but when we open a school at Jati, my hometown, we don't affiliate it with Presec. Why don't we bring an assistant headmaster of Presec to be the headmaster of Abomusu, the new school that we're opening, so that the DNA of Presec will be seated there? Why can't we give an offer that people can refuse and bring them as head of department from their schools to become assistant headmasters in new schools, bring the best practices from Opokuari to Owarimai? We have the talent, but we are not managing it. And these are some of the things that I believe needs to be done in the Ghanaian education space. That we can use the resources that we have here and use it well to transform our education system and allow the education system to then transform our socioeconomic structures. That is the kind of nation we need to have. The education plays a critical role in socioeconomic transformation. It's documented around the world, and Ghana has to be one of those countries. You can't talk about transforming your fortunes if your gross tertiary enrollment ratio is so low. Countries where we've seen progress and transformation, they've improved their gross tertiary enrollment ratio. I want to make it as easy as possible for all of us to understand that if this room happens to be a town, and we count the number of people who are here and there are 100, if we also ask this information town, how many of the people in this room are in some kind of tertiary education? How many of the people in this room are between the ages of 18 to 22? If the response is 10 people here are between ages of 18 to 22, and then we ask how many are in tertiary, then you begin to look at the calculation. And in a place like this where there are so many creative talents, it will be through the roof. But if you go to other towns and you ask the same question and say, I ask a chief, how many of your people are between the ages of 18 to 22? If they say 100, and you ask how many people in the town generally and tertiary, and they say 10, that town has 10% gross tertiary enrollment ratio. Countries that have transformed their fortunes, you have to be 40% plus. Then you see the transformation. Because you have the critical mass with the critical minds to bring about transformation, especially if your education system is also focusing on critical thinking. I just got the good news that gross tertiary enrollment ratio has moved from 18% to 20%. So it's good. We can then deliver on the president's promise that by 2030, our gross tertiary enrollment ratio should be 40. But going forward, it means Director General of GTech, you've got to do your calculation and make sure we are moving up. If Ghana hits 40% gross tertiary enrollment ratio, you're going to see transformation of the country. The foundation will have been solid for the country to take off. But we know we cannot do all these things if we don't look at our tertiary education space, if we don't look at how to provide logistics for our institutions, if we don't look at how to provide transportation, teaching and learning materials for our schools, how to train the human capital, how to train the staff so that they can deliver. That takes me to National Education Institute. We also have consulting with IEP and other institutions so that this nation will have a National Education Institute where we train our people in education from the headquarters of Ghana Education Service, headquarters of Ghana TV Service, Ministry of Education, all the talent that is there. We need to train them so that they can champion the education transformation agenda. It's difficult for me, easy for me to stand here and say we are transforming, but the very people who are working with you, if they don't understand what the transformation is about, if they don't understand what is gifted and talented education, if they don't understand what is STEM, how do they then lead in the transformation agenda? National Education Institute will offer that opportunity for our leadership to be trained and to be at the cutting edge of education innovation. So then we lead and produce the outcomes that is expected of us. New universities are going to be developed. In this current budget, we have 5 STEM universities approved, medium term for construction. It's exciting that we're going to get 5 new universities built, especially in those regions without universities. We also have recently signed an agreement to do the Bunso University agreement, and the South Koreans are in town. That campus is going to be built. So is the Hohoi campus, which is part of UHAS. Then under this budget, we're also looking at 12 state-of-the-art technical and vocational training institutes funded for construction to begin. Also the modernization of NAFTI, a great institution that have not had equipment and facilities to really produce the outcomes that we want in the country. The president says NAFTI should be transformed. We also this year are going to build 10 out of 35 STEM high schools. 35 STEM high schools are approved under this budget for construction. It's like building PRESEC 35 times, replicating PRESEC 35 times across the length and breadth of this nation. 10 of them are going to be done this year. We are going to retool science laboratories in our senior high schools and upgrading our vocational training center under an Austrian grant. One of the things that I'm excited about is the construction of 21st century junior high schools in selected urban communities. $100 million allocated for that purpose. Also, the establishment of STEM-based senior high schools, 5 of them, supported by the Badia and Ophir, Saudi Arabia. All those countries have come together, and they are building 5 STEM schools, just like the one that we are building in Accra. They are also going to support ICT-based distance learning projects. We are on track to operationalizing the Open University Ghana. AIMS, African Institute of Mathematics, funding provided for the construction of their campus. We have also awarded contract for the building of a girls' STEM school at Pong Katamanso. It will be on the same land as the AIMS, African Institute of Mathematical Sciences. I'm excited about the fact that we have another girls' STEM school being opened. Together, we're going to have schools that focus on STEM, dedicated to the education of our girls. And it's for no reason, it's not for no reason that we are doing it. If you look at engineering, currently, only 15% of our engineering students are women. And we don't think that should be allowed to continue. If you look at the laurels that was brought home by Manfred, these girls, how they conquered the world, it tells you that if you give opportunity to women, they will excel. So the government is doing everything possible to ensure that this happens. I wanted to make my staff happy. I've been following the scripts. So let's look at some of the beautiful pictures. Pictures tell a story, more than maybe what I would say. And they say pictures don't lie. Abomosu, this is the campus. This is not the artistic rendering. This is not architectural rendering. This is where we are. They'll be working on the external works so that we can open Abomosu to first-year students in April. April 4th, when the first-year students return to school, we'll be able to open Abomosu. Beautiful school. You look at this. Makes me want to go back to high school. This is Pasempe. Beautiful campus. They are finishing up the streets. And this is built by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president of the republic. He directed that he wants boarding schools that can bring students from across the country. So when you hear that, what have you built? The response is a lot. And we are going to open for the whole country to see. So move on. Kwadaso, Creative Arts Senior High School, under construction. Let's move on to the next one. This is Damban, also in Ashanti, and Akrodie in Ahafu. And then Awaso, Western North, right? Progress is being made. We intend to open it. It's moving so fast. Move on. Weja in Accra here, overlooking the dam. It's beautiful. They will get a breathtaking view. It's a view you will never get at any high school. I'm sure we've been. And I have told people that, you see, we need to put people on the bus, whoever we want to go and see. My friends, distinguished friends from the media, let's hop on the bus and go and see, so that we can tell the story. Because it's not about me, it's not about even the president, it's about the transformation of this country. I go to work very early and excited, 6:30, I'm at the office and I'm excited because we are changing this country. So, when I hear people saying, what's he doing? I say, hey, what am I doing? We are working on. Because we have to work. I won't leave what I'm doing in America to come to Ghana and play around. We're doing some serious work there in Los Angeles. President came there, saw me and said, come to Ghana and help me change the education system. Let my schools, over 200 workers there, to come. And I'm coming here to play around. I'm coming here to mess up the education system. If I can improve American education system, I will help uplift my nation's education system any single day. So I may make some mistakes. But I tell you, we want to change the system. I'll step on some toes, but I want to change the system. This is a good time for me to talk about the semester and trimester. Because I knew something in the ministry, we can't wait. I'll ask my own question and answer it. So, I was sitting in my office in my small corner. And I was convinced that semester is good. And that last year, before I became the minister, junior high school was made a semester. But primary school continued a trimester, which means we go 3 terms. And that parents were complaining because some of their children will be at home in the primary school and some will be at school, at the junior high. In most cases, in most communities, the junior high child who walks his siblings to school. So it was a legitimate concern. So in response, GS said, okay, then let's make primary school and KG all semesters. And I said, it's too long. And they said, you know what? In order to accommodate the children, we're going to have a break. After 10 weeks, we take a break so that the children will rest. Lessons in leadership. So I said, okay, go ahead, but inform the unions. They came to report to me that consultation had been made with the unions and that the unions agree. And I said, I won't doubt you. Go ahead. Roll out the calendar. Boy, I was wrong. The calendar was rolled out and people were up in arms. So there's a new policy. I said, what's a new policy? It's just a schedule. It's not a policy. I said, no, there's a new policy that the minister has brought and it's going to destroy the Ghanaian education system. We, the CSOs, were not consulted. I said, oh, it's a schedule, not a policy. Long story short, the unions petitioned me. They came and made a forceful case that their rank and file is not happy. So I said to myself, even if the unions were consulted, but their rank and file is not happy, I'm not going to sit here to do something that will make 400,000 employees unhappy. The mark of leadership is when you say to yourself, if something is not right, you reverse yourself. It's not mark of leadership when you become a dictator and say, I'm the minister. No. I'm here to serve. So I'll serve the people. And in education, the people who matter the most are my teachers, my colleague teachers. So yes, I brought GS and I told them, given the situation, reverse yourselves. Give the teachers what they want so that they'll be happy to teach. And then the next day, people are saying, why did you change your mind? Why didn't you focus on it? I should focus on that to get 400,000 workers unhappy. No. So, I'll tell you this. Anything that I do, I look at, will this serve the people who are working in the space well? And will it do any harm to the education system if I consent? My research as an educationist tells me that there's no difference between semester and trimester. It's just for convenience. If semester is convenient for you, use it. If trimester is convenient for you, use it. And in the space of primary and junior high school, nothing shows that if we do semester, the outcomes will be better. Nothing shows that if you do trimester, the outcomes will be better. Therefore, I reversed it. And that is it. So to all those who are watching, I want you to know that me, I've been tried and tested in America. And in Ghana, I came to serve the president. We'll do everything possible to change the education system. If something doesn't go well, if it's reversible, I will do it. And I won't apologize for it. I'll do it because it is the right thing to do. But I've learned a few lessons. I won't tell you. I won't tell you that I've learned a few lessons. Okay, so you look at these facilities and we are moving. We are moving. I'm sure most of you want your family members to go to Wager, the most beautiful, captivating view of any senior high school in the world. Wager. Let's move on. This is Kwasi, existing senior high school, and so many facilities have been added. Total transformation of Kwasi. Totally transformed. Let's move on. Awaso, or Diaso, is also beautiful, breathtaking views. Move on. This sounds familiar, Bosumche. This is not as big as Awaso, but it's cute. Very well put together. External features is good. We've got a smaller version of the big ones, but we'll live with it and get our girls to enjoy the environment. And this building that you see here is now the new junior high school building. So this is what you're going to see. Like just so at Chamba, everywhere that we are building junior high schools, this is what you're going to see. You go inside, there's a large compound in the middle. It had 3 science labs, biology, chemistry, and physics. Not bad for junior high school. And that is what you're going to see. You put one of these buildings in the middle of a town, and you have to close down 12 junior high schools and move all of them there. They walk in that building the first day of school with their tie and skirt and blouse for the girls, and they will say to themselves, we are grateful to the President of the Republic. Next year, by this time, most of these schools will be about to open. And of course, the media will be there to witness it. Ghana has to transform its education system. And that is the track that we are on. Let's move on. Oh, okay. Oh, this is the famous Accra STEM Academy. It's coming up live. Construction has begun. And it's going to be beautiful and nice. Various models have been developed. Oh, the hostel block. Contracts have been awarded. By next month, construction will begin under the management of GTech. Every college of education is getting, I think, a 400-bed hostel, every one of them. Because, you see, we made teacher education 4 years, right? Therefore, there's a need to add more facilities. 400-bed hostel, beautifully done, excellent furniture. I don't think the cars are part of it. Be careful, they'll be coming for it. So next time, take away that. And E-blocks. This has been completed, and we are operationalizing. Let the world hear that Nana Danko Kufuor has no joy in abandoning E-blocks. This is Tambligo, and this one is what? Adabo Chrome. Move on. Oh, you skipped some of them. But there are 4 of them. Good. There are 4 of them. Now, let's move on to other things so that I can wrap up. Under the new school opening, we have the E-blocks, we have the STEM schools. We are also absorbing 11 community schools spread around the country, 11 of them. And I think you will see the list there. Some towns are going to jubilate because their community school is there. They pleaded with the government, and the government has approved the absorption of those schools, 11 of them. It's going to be part of the new schools that are coming. And one of the things that we are doing with those new schools is to make sure that they have the right facilities, and especially Sandlers will step up and make sure you can get them the simulated lab, the virtual labs. And why am I so passionate about that? I went to a high school that did not do science. Maybe my future would have been different, but I probably may not be standing here in front of you. I'm probably working from the emergency ward of Kolebu. But I didn't get to do science because there was nothing like science at Jache Primary Senior High School. No lab, nothing. The best student did general arts. And then you did elective math, the art maths. So for many years, people who went to Jache Primary, so the best course you could get was land economy. Because you do the mathematics, then do geography and economy. My deputy is laughing. He did science. I couldn't get to do science. So what we are looking at is that if we absorb a school, we also have to make sure they have the facilities to do science. So we are very committed to that. So at Fija Senior High Technical School in Buamai, Donkro in Kwanta Senior High School in Kransa, Buenim Community Senior High School, Ashanti Region, Yunyo Naswan Community Senior High School, Northeast, Morso Senior High School, Asante Achim South, Presbyterian Senior High School, formerly Ramsaya, in Trapatre, Ashanti, Kobna Ansa Senior High School, Cape Coast, Ankasi Community Senior High School, Ashanti, Presbyterian Senior High Technical, Nampaduri, 7-Day Adventist Senior High School, Chukwa, Gumwa East, and Ibadu Rahman Academy Senior High School, Asokore Mampong. These are the 11 schools that we are absorbing, and these are all new schools that are going to be operationalized for the first time. I think most of them under the Ghana Education Service, because these are regular senior high schools or secondary technical schools. So I just want you to know that on our update to you, we've made some giant strides in education. There are challenges that we confront every day, making sure buffer stock supplies all the food items on time and they are paid on time, developing an effective cash flow management regime so that everything our schools need will go to them on time. These are day-to-day challenges, but it pales in comparison to the giant strides that we have made as a government, as a ministry, and we continue to make to ensure that children are reading at grade level, the great work that is being done by the National Library Authority, which has won them recognitions from around the world, coming mainly from the efforts of the council chair, and I think the youngest CEO, this guy, he's hiding there. You won't see him, so he's tall, but he appears like a young guy. And he's doing a fantastic job at the Library Authority. We are winning international awards there. So it's something that we need to be proud of. We have the National School Inspectorate Authority, a passionate young woman who wants to change everything in the education space, does comprehensive reporting of schools. Is Hilda here? Okay, so Ghana, the National Teaching Council, great strides being made there. Now they are coming up with what we call G-BEST. They are doing stakeholder consultation, Ghana Basic Education Skills Test, so that we can get the right people to fit our teacher training colleges and other teacher training institutions. Every agency at the ministry is distinguishing itself, and we all understand that it's not about their agency's success. It's about the collective success. It's about all of us coming together and empowered by the chief director and his associates to make sure we can really create a robust education system. The FPMU is heading infrastructure development. I'll tell you this, at my ministry, from the auditor to the accountant, finance director, PBME director, everybody is doing their part to make sure that we can create a robust education system. Yeah, you can clap for them. The old director generals of GES have been joined by new director generals, and they are all doing their bit, their part to make sure that we can have a better education system. Lawyer Anthony Boateng is here representing his boss, and there are many people here working for my ministry. G-Tech is here. I'm so proud of them. I'm lucky. I have a group of individuals who are dedicated. Yesterday, when I went to the office and saw all of them there preparing for this presentation, it literally brought tears to my mind that this is not the Ghanaian civil service that we sometimes lambast. These are individuals who have committed themselves and they want to change this country. They want to support me so that the vision of the ministry will be realized, so that education will serve its rightful role as the lever for socioeconomic transformation. I'm grateful to the president. If he didn't appoint me, I won't be here. I will not be here if he didn't appoint me. Grateful to my family, to God for a wonderful opportunity of participating in the education space. I count myself very lucky. Very lucky in the sense that I'm not one of those who are expected to be at this podium. But I'm here. I'm lucky to the extent that one of the few education ministers around the world with a good CV on education. I may make mistakes, but I know what I'm doing. I may make mistakes because I've been trained as classroom teacher, principal, CEO, deputy minister, and now minister. I'm going to work with you. My doors are open. I even say my windows are open. You can come to me anytime. I don't worry about criticism because you may be making my job better by telling me something that I may not know or may have forgotten. Deputy Minister for Information, you gave me all the time, and I'll tell you I'm grateful. I'm done. Sit down for you to take the questions? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Another round of applause for the brilliant and insightful presentation. You know, you now understand why I told Minister he can go as long as he wants to. It's always refreshing to hear what the Honorable Minister for Education has to say, especially if you are futuristic. You are looking into what is possible within the education sector in Ghana. But my takeaway really is about the fact that the Honorable Minister spoke extensively about government's efforts to bridging the gap between education in the northern part of the country and the southern part, government's investment in STEM schools, and creating space in the education sector for gifted and talented students, and also government's investment in modern infrastructure for schools across board. I never envisaged that one day junior high school will be the kind of space where you will be looking forward to building laboratories, among other things. Because the junior high school I attended, Buokrom MA Junior High School, was actually a middle school, and I didn't know the background to that school. On that note, I would like to acknowledge the representative of UNESCO to Ghana, Mr. Abdurrahman Diallo. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now take your questions. We have a microphone at the back, so kindly show by hand if you have any question. We will call you. You mention your name, the media house you represent, and then go ahead with your question. We'll take 5 questions at a time, and if there is need for another round, we will come for your questions. So, ladies first. We'll go to the right wing, take 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Is there any fifth hand? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll come to Mr. Lanza for the 5th question.
Okay,
so,
thank you very much for the opportunity. And I want to say this is a very detailed presentation of what's going on in the education ministry. I want to ask, I think that your presentation.
Please, your name and media house.
Esther, Metro
Esther.
TV.
Okay.
Your presentation was quite, what I say, student-centered to me. I want to know, there are a lot of concerns from teachers, from teacher unions, from one teacher, one laptop, to a lot of concerns from teachers, salaries, arrears, and all of that. With all these plans, that are beautiful plans, I must say, that the government has, what about the teachers who are going to push this agenda? What is the ministry doing about it? And my second question is on the Boko situation. So because of the security situation in Boko, a lot of teachers are asking for reposting. Some are leaving the municipality. What is GES doing about it? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So we'll go to Paul for the second question.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister of Information and Minister of Education. My name is Paul Nyojo Dalafo. I report for Daily Statesman. Honorable Minister, I think your efforts to changing education system in the country has everything to do with good. But that having said, there are still a lot we need to do. And why do I say so? I say so because looking at what is going on in the rural areas, it is nothing to write home about. Because a place like Sanguli in the Sawoba district, which a few months ago, I complained to you about that, and your response was so enticing and so encouraging. And you directed that something should be done about that. I went for the Christmas, and it was like the whole place has deteriorated further. I want to know whether the authorities that you had given the directive had reported to you anything concerning that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll take the third question from the back and then we'll take two.
Thank you very much. My name is Clifford Kufua, I write for the Ghanaian Times. Honorable Minister, we do appreciate that there are a lot of reforms currently ongoing in the education sector. But there are those who believe that these reforms are one too many. And if anything, it should be taken one after the other. I would want to get your take on that concern. Secondly, one issue of concern is the lack of textbooks. We hear people talking about textbooks every now and then, especially at the primary level. I would want to find out when we are going to get textbooks in our schools, especially at the primary level. And then finally, UTAG has been on strike for about 3 weeks now. I would want to know what exactly their issues are and what the government is doing to ensure that they return as quickly as possible to the classroom, and how we ensure that their conditions of service are improved. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So give the microphone to the gentleman in white, and then we'll take Lansa.
Honorable, your friend Kwame Adoba. Me adwuma wɔ TV Africa. Honorable no kasa no man TBB amfa Get Fund project. Na masem bisa no miensa. Me bisa ba ko Get Fund project. You call Asen Central. There's a Get Fund project I must say 2010. Honorable me no kasa Get project no up to date in akaho. Mpese bisa ni say honorable aware. Afi in Asen North, there's 18 identified schools school under trees. The person say honorable, so aware. Now there's another school, and so Asen North, and also community school. A friend Asen Junechi, community na mobilizing Nkolano on at school no because of baby ana Nkolano nanti omko school na kwawa. The community na at school no omo pese aban ɛbɛgye ɛmanage. So ɛkwan bɛn na ɔmo mfa so aban betumi abɛm ɛdase.
Yeah, please keep your questions brief so that we can take more questions.
I'm Prosper Benega from Ghanaian Observer newspaper. Honorable, I want to know how you ensure that all the agencies under the watch buy into your vision of transformation, and what consultation have you had with your agency heads? Thank you.
Okay, let's take the last question for this round, and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. My name is Musa Lansa. I work with the EIB network, the English cluster. One of the things I pay attention to is this issue of model schools that are being built. Are we going to have a specific criteria in terms of admitting students into these schools? And what are these we are looking at in terms of admitting the students into these schools? And secondly, you have what we call post-TVET. You've been talking about post-TVET. And why are you placing so much emphasis on this post-TVET policy you keep talking about, sir? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the questions.
Medical Katrina. Asen Central, Asen North, me deputy free Asen. And to the answer, yes, what chefufu na kotonkwem. Unim hon sem nyina ntimikwa ya we special briefing on Asen. Sabeya, the wo modern na enema ekoso hobia say adan ye wo ho a get fund for atuna jeje mu nia enkoso ye hobia no. Ahebe kakra na yenya Asen strategic plan. If it's a report and with him ho papa. I mean, I once met me in Safro near National near Hunia Koso. I'm a person, Ibishia have been na and near my boss so maybe be a timmy aye home ejuma. Baby or honma, a dano musino jaha, nurse upper contractor for fro. Now, ma or yet contract na nasa jumano. Into bia bebia or adia ewo huntia ebia amada na aka ho intimestro said the church or near many nyina I also community school bi ho on pesa ban som ema omo there's a say near hwe ho adwuma pa en say ansa na de ensa kwakoka no na e ho aka de na edan a esiesi ho ansa fi so anhwe ya community school no no mote enuada bi mu abaden sa koka na nsu ato ne nuada na bu na kwa school under trees. And your boy home modern said, baby, school no one, baby, as a school in Quan, dear. Your boy home modern said, the damn is one sana, yet the answer cancer school way, I be a buying school. And to me, I send reporter, I know we didn't come. Now move from 3 and move on to number 5. There was a question about agency heads. Agency heads no at the papa woman say woman nyina bebre emra foforo no de adwuma emra no de adwuma no so gina bia nyina no say ba bia gina nhihye ya ye ho adwuma enti obi wo nasia National School Inspectorate Authority emra foforo de ama no de adwuma no eno na esesam masuam enti no den say nasia for beka say minister in support to fi say emra no de adwuma no eno na de and she from Sweden, Eba. And the agency has the Mojidi so in our time. Any part of the minimum name the work that they are doing tells me they support me, but I can't open their heads and see whether they support me or not. But at least I can say, unequivocally, that they support me because of the work and the outcomes that they are producing. If you look at CTVET, Commission for TVET. Now they are the regulatory agency. The new law is what they are using. So when the president decided that all TVET schools should come to the Ministry of Education, it's CTVET that is leading that prior to the formation of the TVET service. So it's difficult for me to doubt that Fred is not supporting me. The work that he's doing now is based on the act, and it's the act that I'm following up based on the directive of the president. that 139 TVET schools are now at the Ministry of Education. And by the way, they are all going to enjoy the free senior high school. Any school student that goes to any one of the 139 TVET schools will not have to pay any fees. They are part of the free senior high school. So I know that they are supporting me. And then I move on to, there was something about agency heads. I think that's what I saw. Did you ask any other thing? Agency heads. And then we'll move on to 3. Oh, the reforms are one too many. I think I knew you were going to ask it. That's why at the beginning I said that in education you have to do about 10 things at the same time in order for you to see better outcomes. If you only embark on infrastructure development and build the V blocks as Nana Danko Kufa has done, his buildings are V-shaped, the classroom blocks, or build E blocks. If you don't train teachers, you are in trouble. So invariably, the reforms you've seen in this country is that we take one thing and focus on it and say, hey, we are doing this, targeted instruction. Meanwhile, the classroom that we are targeting the instruction in is falling apart. So you see, you go and train the teachers and say that the students should be working in groups. I've been told to speak into the mic. My teacher thing comes out. So you said they should work in groups and they should move the chairs around and sit together. The teacher will get the training, but he goes and there are no chairs. So you have to look at furniture, you have to look at the buildings, you have to look at the textbooks, you have to look at teacher training, you have to look at parent engagement so that the parent will invest themselves in the education of their children. You have to look at headmaster training because the teachers will go to training, but the headmaster have no idea what to do. You are in trouble. So even within this example that I've given to you, I've mentioned almost about 8 things. So if you see me doing the 8 things, don't think I'm doing one too many things, because if I don't, the outcomes will not show. If I say that I want to change the education service in the education system in this country, but I leave our STEM, I can do whatever I have to do, put up all the buildings. If I leave our STEM, our education system will not produce 21st century outcomes. So if you know something about education, the sense of urgency when it hits takes you in different directions, but you have to work with a team. Each will do their part. TVET will do its part. GES will do its part. Everybody will do their part. So as they reinvent themselves, GES and TVET service reinvent themselves, school inspector reinvent itself, NTC reinvent itself. So you're going to hear in the media, NTC is doing this, GES is doing this, TVET service is doing it. It's one too many. But all of them have to reinvent themselves for us to get the kind of education system that the good people of Ghana expect from us. If we don't, we perish. So I appreciate the fact that you think I'm doing too many things. That means you want me to rest. So my brother, I truly appreciate you. Unfortunately, if I don't get all my agencies doing different things for us to move, we'll not be able to produce the outcome that this country expects from us. The people of Ghana expect quality learning outcomes. We have parents who, unfortunately, don't believe that primary school and junior high school is free. I always say this. You have my water there, right? Let me have my bottle of water and show as an example. Teachers always want to show something. If I tell you water is free, water is free, water is free, and the water I'm giving to you is contaminated, to you water is not free. So I can preach about free, compulsory, universal, basic education, but the middle class Ghanaian is saying, what is free about primary school? What is free about junior? I have to pay for my children to go. And I don't think it's fair to them that they don't have a choice but to send their children to private school. You go to private school, it should be a convenience thing, it should be a choice thing because of the curriculum. But it shouldn't be that you take out your children from public school because you don't want the outcomes. I want the outcomes to be so good that in the near future, if you're sending your children to private, it must be for some other reason and not because they won't do well. so that the free compulsory universal basic education, which may become free compulsory universal secondary education, will have lived to its true meaning of free, and not free that you don't like. It has to be the free that you like. And that is why you see these schools. The free, it must be free, that the good people of Ghana wants. Rural schools. Friend was talking about a school that's deteriorated and we took action on it. Please come and meet with me. I really want to move that from the list of challenges that I have. Please. We'll take immediate action. Me and see a FPMU. You say you went to Christmas, you didn't see any improvement. Once I've committed that it should be done, it will be done. So I think it's a mission that you really want to see accomplished, and we'll all focus on it. We have teacher concerns. Lady, the expert media person, she spoke so eloquently and talk about the fact that, your presentation was student-centered. Madam, I'll tell you one thing. Maybe I didn't bring out the teacher-centeredness. In all those new schools, do you know something that is going to happen? The teacher walks into her class or his class at the high school, and that is her space. In all those new high schools, the teacher may have his fridge there. They don't have to go to the staff common room. We are going to 21st century in all the new schools that we are doing. The science teacher has his room. The geometry teacher, the mathematics teacher has his room. He can't wait to wake up and go to work because the environment is so inviting. We are going to stay away and move away in these new schools from the schools that we find today. You walk into the classroom and students have written on the wall, Atuli paper was here, 2013. Atuli paper was here. It tells you that since 2013, that room has never been painted. And it said Johnny Walls was here, 2017. Yes. And it will be all over the place. That will be a thing of the past. We begin from the new schools. Atuli paper will not be there. But Ms. Jones will be there because Ms. Jones' name will be there. Ms. Jones' picture will be there. Ms. Jones' family picture will be there. If it's a history class, the pictures of presidents will be there. The classroom environment was so inviting that the teacher cannot wait to go to work the next day. Challenges teachers are facing. I happen to be on some platform. I won't mention the name. I don't know who added me to the platform, but I've been quiet so that they won't find out that I was there. And I've been listening in the conversation that they will lambast me, and I'm still quiet. I'm still quiet. Then one day, about a week ago, I went on the platform and people were agitated. And I look at the agitation, and I even forwarded it to the DDG of Ghana Education Service. They were telling themselves that, those of us who don't have to sit for the exams for us to be promoted, the circle supervisors and the district directors have done our evaluation, and we've been waiting for 4 years. Promotion has not come. I felt strongly that if that is the case, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for you to tell a teacher that your promotion system is through evaluation by the district director. District director goes there and doesn't submit the report to headquarters. For 4 years, those teachers have not seen promotion, and it's unacceptable. Teachers don't need that aggravation. That is why I said at the beginning of my term as the minister that there will be employee welfare desk. Fortunately, I have somebody who is going to fill that position. That person will take these complaints and work with GS or TVS service to solve them. We need to remove those bottlenecks so that teachers will be excited about their work. If the promotion is due them, if our allowance is due them, they have to receive it. Because one of the things I don't understand is that if you don't pay, the person is aggrieved, doesn't give you his or her best. Then after 2 years, you are paying, but the person didn't deliver 100% for you. So it's in our interest to make sure that we resolve these complaints. So we'll be working closely with the agencies who deal directly with teachers to make sure that their challenges are resolved so that they can then teach the students and go to the classroom excited to be there and not see their leaders are not giving them what is due them. So teacher welfare is something that maybe because I taught too, I'm concerned about teachers. Teaching is a difficult job. You take work home to grade, or you carry the burden of the students home. And people who do that kind of work are dedicated individuals. And we need to do everything possible to make sure we understand them and we are concerned about them. And we give them what is due them so that they will continue to serve us and create the new minds and the great minds that we need for a transformation of this dear nation of ours called Ghana. Thank you.
You still have some questions, I think. Okay, we'll take 3 last questions because we've been here for almost 2 hours. And, we are live on TV. So please, if you can be brief with the questions, we'll take 3 last questions. Otherwise, I was about to elect to end the Q&A session here, but the hands are many. So those who haven't asked any question, can you show by hand? So 1, 2, and we'll take the last one. So I beg you, let's take the last 3 questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam. So first of all, I want to remind Minister about the Utah question. Somebody asked, there was no response. To my question, the issue of students' accommodation on our various university campuses is year in, year on. Is there a plan by the ministry to nip this in the bud? If a collaboration with some agencies to stop this, because every year we are on university campuses reporting about students' accommodation issues. Thank you.
Okay. Please mention your name, media house, and then ask your question.
Yes. Good afternoon, Honourable Minister. My name is Nana Poku from Daily Searchlight. The reforms you are backing on, that means that there's going to be a new curricular development, a new textbooks and things like that. How far have you with that program? Because I think it came up that Macmillan was putting some textbooks and some people were not happy. I don't know, you have had stakeholder engagement with the other stakeholders to come out a new curricula and new textbook for the program or the programs. I don't know how far you have reached there. And then, Honourable Minister.
Nana, please, let's keep it at one question.
Only one?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Alex Boy. I write for the New Crusading Guide paper. The Honourable Minister, we've noticed that children of the nursery department of Abnampo Presby School within the Sumu municipality of the Eastern region carries their own chairs to class. But genius look unconcerned after several appeals from our end. And I want to find out if you have any special plans for the children over there. Thank you.
So the last one.
Thank you. My name is Kojo Adams from Ghana News Agency. Honorable, you mentioned that 6 new STEM schools will be opened this year. I want you to be specific and give us the area.
Okay. Oh, Asa, yeah. Okay, so we'll go to the Honorable Minister for his final comments.
Thank you so much. Let me begin with UTAC. Yes, we know that unfortunately, university lecturers are on strike, but we continue to engage them as to how best we can get them back. As a Minister for Education, I've said I'm the chief advocate for teachers and professors. And when we find ourselves in this space, I do everything possible, formally and informally, front door and back door, to make sure that we come to some resolution. As we did the last time, so it will happen this time around. So we continue to engage them to make sure that we can bring a resolution to this problem. Our textbooks, I think I've said here that negotiations are done. I'm told that contracts will be awarded after PPA approval. It's difficult for me to give you the date, not because it's difficult, but I know you fact-check me. So what I'm going to do is that when I go to the office, I will talk to procurement and will put out the date after they advise me that given the fact that they finished negotiations, it's going to take this days or weeks for the books to come out. Then we move on to selection criteria for students in STEM schools. As soon as the schools become gifted and talented schools, then the selection is based on one's ability in terms of aptitude test. But until we get there, it will be based on your desire to attend the school. So let's then move on to Nana was talking about the curricula that is being done. We've started stakeholder consultation on that. Schools like Chelsea University, a number of universities that are doing STEM, they've come together, and actually NACA is leading the effort. They've put together a team to look at high school curricula generally and also specifically the STEM curriculum. So they are doing that. I know in Ghana, you have to be careful with stakeholder consultation because in education space, I thought it would be teachers and parents, generally, the unions, everybody is there. But in Ghana, you also have to make sure CSOs are consulted. So I'll make sure I consult the CSOs. Otherwise, I'll be accused and lambasted and said, why didn't you consult me? I'm a CSO. CSOs will consult you too, because we know you are important stakeholders in the Ghanaian education space. TVET, post-secondary TVET. So it's not post-TVET, but post-secondary TVET. You understand that in this country there used to be polytechnics and then became technical universities. And now that we are making TVET free, so many students, after the secondary TVET, may want to go to do some advanced work. It can be a certificate program, it can be a diploma program. But if we do not increase the number of post-secondary TVET institutions, it will be very difficult for us to accommodate the increasing numbers. So we have funding to do 8 of them. Government has secured funding to do 8 post-secondary TVET institutions where you can go and do a certificate in fashion design, certificate in computer repairs, a diploma, a 2-year diploma or 3-year diploma in any other field that you desire, jewelry making and other things. So these are new schools that are going to be built, and it will complement the technical universities. But I want to underscore the fact that this is not a place where you're going to do master's degrees. This will be hands-on, minds-on training that will put people to work. And if you work and you want to move on to go to university, that is fine with us. But the preparation is not for somebody who is going to earn a master's degree. That the technical universities can do. But we want a new kind of education system, the TVET space where it's about industry certification, what you can do and what you are certified to do, and not a diploma for you to move on to do a master's degree or something of that sort. Accommodation at the universities are of concern to us. We started with the colleges of education by building hostels there. At the university level, we'll continue to work with the universities to make sure that we provide incentives for build, operate, and transfer solutions. Because we believe the private sector can do a good job there, but I think we'll get them to do a better job for us if there was some kind of incentive, something that will incentivize them to do more. So, for example, instead of GetFund using, let's say, 100 million in building 5 or, let's say, 5 hostels, you can distribute this among about 30 developers as credit enhancement for them to be able to do their work fast, and then within the first 3 or 4 years, they pay you back. And then GetFund gets its money to do something else. So we're looking at new ways where we can motivate and incentivize the private developer to develop more hostels while the government focuses on support for lecture halls. And on this score, I want to commend UPSA for the work that they've done. In fact, they're using the IGF in building lecture halls. It's so much commendable when you go to EEW, Winneba, and see the number of hostels that they've built from their IGF Tech has done similar things. That's my alma mater. They will kill me if I don't mention their name. But the bottom line is a number of universities have been innovative, and we need to incentivize them, support them, so that we'll put to rest this issue of students going to campuses and struggling to get accommodation. I'm sponsoring a number of students, as some of you know, so I understand issues in that space. I now have 97 engineers and medical doctors from my constituency that I'm fully paying for, and how to find them spaces to live. So I understand the concerns of parents when it comes to issues about accommodation. And we're going to continue to work with the universities to make sure that this aggravation become a thing of the past. I'm so grateful. I think I'm done. I'm so grateful. I think I've answered all the questions. Madam Wase, say mobile. Na mwabetaye chi amejumedi ayefefefe mpenimfo amen mobile Madam Wase. Wo arishem ewo mumu minimsa motamachi den mabum chidom sebe ya yede ngumesua ebekonanim akoduru baabi a amansa nyina bepene Ghana no maka se Ghana ene baabi a wo pe ngumesua bibimemu ahwa ko na kohwe Ghana ebeye ngumesua ho adwuma kese ebeye nsankyerene amawiase yekwa akoduru baabi a Vietnam fo du ne emambre beedu ne South Korea du no mbetimi asiaka me nkwala nso abom moden me warishem ewo Ghana fo mu me warishem ewo 7 predia some teacher for de bi omo classroom enema bi wo ho ma intimi nya ma omo na no nkyerese ebu ani aguso ekwan bia so de teacher for hi ebe ya momo ama adwuma omo ye omaye ne yi amayen ne maba ne mrante nso atimi apagya no ho na oman Ghana afa ne ntuma pefra ewo momesuam yesi mu ache ensenuru ba bi esesi eduru no ene South Korea for ne si mu omo hwe momesuam ye ema maba mrante nyina nya free senior high school no call dada no sabre wo mo hye brasesa na efiti ase ba bia ekwa akoduro no se nyina ka bom na eka so man Ghana ye baako ewo nwumasua mu nwumasua wo de policy ba ne apam nwumasua nya ha se ne ya manyosem nwumasua ne ba bia nyina ka ya adwi bom kase e besesa no fisi ansesa nwumasua betra da rifam ache ekwan bia so se nyame ya madom na me minister for education meni asentwerefo nyina ba adwuma se bibi wo ho na mo ntia se be usa ma mekyerɛkyerɛ mu enti nko sopa me ansa na ba hwe no so enso pa me ansa bibi wo ha de from na busa me enti me ankyerɛkyerɛ mu na sopa me anya hwe na de be hena nkrofo sopa me basa enti bi pa no wem sa enti bi pa no wem sa oh Brahma bro here ni ba sa be ma minister for education. Oh, me no ma super me sa oh minimum dia mi yo na mistake dem fun so de we ase enti mi da ma se nyame nsira mo.
The Honorable Minister for Education, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Education, representative of UNESCO to Ghana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us here at the Ministry of Information. I believe this is one of many conversations we'll have this year about the education sector. So thank you so much, and we look forward to receiving you anytime that you want to come to our ministry. Thank you and good afternoon.